And as we also saw in some of the figures from Deborah Revoltella earlier, money put into defense in Poland is moving up to 4.5%. And I know lots of interesting things are happening in Poland, and I'm going to have to get better at pronunciation of Polish names. So I'm going to do my very, very best. So it is a great honor to have you here with us. It is Sławosz Uznański-Wiśniewski. And he's, thank you, yes, I tried very hard. Did my best. And we're going to start with a wonderful video, so we're delighted to have him.
Thank you. I have to say I'm always a bit emotional watching these videos. These memories live in my head very vividly. So it's been just last year, and I can't believe that all the mission happened, and now I can tell you about that a bit. Let me start that I was born in Łódź, in Poland, in the 80s. And as you can imagine, back in the day, in that era, in that place, it was difficult to imagine to become an astronaut. It was, there was just simply no opportunities like this in Poland, and it was, there was no infrastructure in place to make these dreams a reality. I started my studies in 2003. Poland was not in the European Union yet. Everything changed in 1st of May, 2004. This is when Poland accessed the European Union. I was at the first year of my university. And from that moment, the world opened. The borders stopped existing. I had a chance from Poland to go and continue my studies in France, thanks to the Erasmus program. Then I started my PhD working in the French industry, co-financed by the French government. Then later on, I found myself working at the European Organization for Nuclear Research at CERN, building and operating one of the most complex scientific machines on Earth, the Large Hadron Collider. Working alongside 17,000 scientists and engineers, in the organization of 100 nationalities with one common goal, to advance the frontiers of science, of knowledge that we have. And then in 2022, after 14 years of waiting for the selection of astronauts, I could apply, and I was selected among 22,500 applicants as one of the finalists, and then Poland decided to fund a space mission to the International Space Station. That was the first mission for Poland to the ISS in history, and the second spaceflight for a Polish citizen. For the country that joined the European Union just 20 years ago, it is a tremendous road. And not only for myself as a single individual, as one career, but really for the country. It is a result of deliberate choices, but mostly the result of funded programs, open borders, shared infrastructure, and long-term investment in people. CERN taught me what no textbook could teach me, that big goals are achievable. You can achieve them, but when you work with other people. That's when, working for the organization of 100 nationalities, but with one goal, this is not a compromise. This is an added advantage when you can work together to achieve common goals. ESA is built on the same principle. Myself as Polish, but this is an organization where Polish, French, Italian, British, German, Swiss engineers and scientists work together on a shared project with a goal to achieve these goals that are not achievable by a single nation. Axiom 4 mission was no different, my mission. We were 4 nationalities, an American, an Indian, a Hungarian, and a Polish, working together among our 4 countries and 3 continents. Our flags represented 27% of the global population. We went to the International Space Station with this motto, space for everyone. And I think this is the Europe's superpower, is not one single nation. It is really the open Europe with its mobility, shared infrastructure, and this long-term political will to invest, to develop all the countries together. This morning we discussed, or this early afternoon, we discussed the climate and the competitiveness. This afternoon, after my talk, we are turning the discussion into defense, security, the industrial technology, sovereignty, and autonomy. But running beneath all these discussions, silently and invisibly, is space technology. Space underpins every aspect of modern life. The precise timing signals, they synchronize our stock markets. They allowed trains to work together. They synchronize power grids and telecom systems. Satellite infrastructure nowadays helps us with weather forecasting, with sustainability and climate change, broadband connectivity of internet access, And as well, what we discuss nowadays in Europe in the past months and past years, security, defense coordination, crisis management, and disaster response. We don't think about this on a daily basis. We don't think about this like we don't think about electricity in that room, in this convention center. We don't think about water's in the pipes, but when you remove it, everything stops. And space is not a benefit from Europe. It is really an invisible, critical infrastructure that runs modern societies. And as each infrastructure, it needs to be maintained, it needs to be built, it needs to be modernized, it needs to be funded and protected. Europe from space is beautiful. This is a beautiful continent where you can see interconnected countries. And especially at night, you can see these lights that appear. But can we maintain this beautiful view in the future of interconnected infrastructure? Europe has all the ingredients for that to happen. We have talent, we have education systems, we have good research networks, values, European values, but what Europe needs is acceleration. Acceleration in technology adoption, in technology production, in turning ideas from ideas into mature products that are competitive, and then create European champions that could scale globally and connect to end users and end customers, connect these services really where it is needed. This is where the institutions in this room become decisive. The breakthroughs of the next 30 years are not going to be built in 2045. They are being built and funded today. A significant step forward was made during the Ministerial Council of ESA last November, together with the EIB, the European Investment Bank, and the European Commission, and the European Space Agency, on funding the new program, the Space Tech EU program, that is 500 million in order to fund ideas, fund companies in Poland, in Europe through commercial banks. This is to improve the financing mostly to SMEs, mid-caps, to be able to scale, and also the companies that have the engineering brains, engineers, to bring services into the market. This is not a grant program. It uses commercial banks to be able to channel, to funnel funding into building space technologies. For the moment, this funding is, as far as I know, available in France, Germany, and Italy through the commercial banks, but we hope this funding can be extended to other countries. So maybe 27 countries of the European Union. I think Poland is an interesting example, and we had already this discussion about Romania today. But Poland became, in the past 30 years of development, became the 20th largest economy globally, surpassing $1 trillion of GDP last year. And this is not a coincidence. This is what happens when you plug in the country into the European infrastructure and European ecosystem where country can develop and use its people to grow the economy. I think on this picture, as you can see, the Europe is beautifully interconnected with all these lights, but there is still some room of improvement in Central and Eastern Europe. I think this is where the development happens quite fast. There is a tremendous talent of people still to be harvested. Maybe there is not enough technology presence in the economies, but there is modern infrastructure and this willingness and need to actually contribute and build the future of technology of Europe. So I did not become an astronaut simply because I dreamed hard enough. I became an astronaut because in Europe, we built an environment where a student from Łódź in Poland can go study in France, work for the biggest European scientific organization, for CERN, and then execute a multinational mission to the International Space Station. I think this is just in itself is a tremendous achievement. But Europe doesn't need only dreamers. Europe needs builders, people who are going to build the technology, who are going to build the future and bring these services to the market. And space sector is one of the clearest expressions of what Europe can be at its best. Collaborative, thinking long-term, technically ambitious, and also strategically sovereign and autonomous. We can build this solution. EIB has a role in that. And it goes beyond the funding. It is about not only bringing capital, but signaling to the market, to entrepreneurs, to member states, to investors, that Europe is serious in building the technological future of the old continent. And this infrastructure of the future can be and will be built here. So I think this is Europe worth building and worth investing the life to bring to light. And I think this room here has more power to build that than almost any other. Thank you so much.